For today's distinction, I'd like to share with you a very simple framework we use for the transformational journey that people go as they become more and more of a trailblazer and they bring out their unique leadership into the world. The framework is what I call the LEAD framework, L.E.A.D. Each of them stands for something different. And in true trailblazer fashion, we approach the framework in reverse. So the D, the first part of the framework is D for discover. And all you're doing in this part of the framework is simply raising your awareness, learning what you didn't know. This is the space of coming in and taking something that you didn't know and finding a new relationship with it. This begins with really the idea of getting a different perspective or having an insight. And once you have that, then it takes us into the next phase of the framework, which is appreciate. In the appreciate phase, we're doing two things here. We're using two definitions of appreciate. I chose this word specifically because it does that. The first definition is really one of appreciating and celebrating. It's really embracing that new discovery in a way that can help you integrate it better into who you are, as well as keep you from resisting bringing it out into life. The second way of looking at appreciate is from the standpoint of an asset. Appreciating an asset means that asset grows in value over time. And so we're taking this opportunity to both embrace and to grow the value of that new discovery, especially as it relates to us internally. There's an internal phase here. So a lot of times we might get a new perspective or be challenged with a new way of thinking about it. And we meet it with resistance. And that couldn't work for us. Or, wow, I wonder what that would look like. I'm not necessarily sure if that's me. I don't know how that would be. The appreciate phase is really about giving you a chance to take that in and to be able to dance with that new idea, to be able to form a new relationship with it. And as you form that relationship, there's some things that happen internally, and there's also some things that happen externally. Now, the external stuff goes to support your internal change. Let's be real. Everything we talk about here is around both the mindset and heart set that accompanies a leader who is choosing to be a trailblazer. And so that takes us to the third phase, which is experiment. And in the experiment phase, this is a phase that's like characterized by being really messy. You're trying things out, you're failing, you're taking this discovery, you've now found a way to dance with it and have a different relationship with it. And now it's a time to test it out in the world, to see what happens, to see what you need to do to be able to turn this discovery from information into true insight, and then from insight into application. During the experiment phase, you're going to do things that are actually not going to end up working well all the time. But your goal here is, yes, you're looking for an external result, but it's about building you up internally to play the game at a higher level on a more consistent basis, with it taking less energy from you. This phase is messy. It's part of the reason why we built the Trailblazer Collective, to help people be in the messy phase of it all and know that they can fail safely and be courageous enough to fail. The fourth phase is the phase of leverage. And this is a really fun phase for me, because it takes things from the element of experimenting and understanding more about how this can be used in the world and how you might still be accepted, or the negative things that you might have felt would take place just often gives us a chance to see that those fears and limiting beliefs won't actually come to fruition. The fears that came up, especially during the appreciate phase. And most people leave it there. They leave it to a place of, okay, I don't have a negative relationship with it. What we do as trailblazers is we take it up yet another level. And one of the beautiful things about the way that we choose to play the game is that the things that we discover about ourselves, oftentimes at this stage in the game, with how much you've created in the world, with the accomplishments that you've had, and with the unique path to life that you've taken, at this stage in the game, the things that you discover, when you're able to own that, and not just own it, but make it a part of why people should and would want to interact with you, to partner with you, to collaborate with you, to work with you, then all of a sudden you enter a new rarefied space. So that thing that you felt may not have been able to be a part of you, or not able to be a lead to additional success for you, oftentimes is the very lever that helps you jump and play at a brand new level. And so the leverage phase is all about that. It's all about being able to take this from a neutral and turn it into a positive. This is the phase where you're working on owning it. You're practicing what you've done intentionally, and you're going out into the world and speaking it ahead of you, so that people come to you looking for the disproportionate value that you create as a result of that unique thing that you now own. It's a really fun game that we play. That's it. That's the whole LEAD framework right there. You discover, you appreciate, you experiment, and then you leverage. And you do it over and over and over again. And sometimes these things come together and you can do the whole entire process within the span of a half hour. You get the insight, you figure out something new about it, you talk to someone in the next minute and you're like, this is me, I'm trying this out. And then all of a sudden you see that the way that they interact with you has changed, and you've already started to leverage it. Or it can happen over years. As we speak, I'm going through several different iterations of this LEAD framework with different parts of myself that I'm trying to integrate. And each time I do, there's something else that becomes more available to me. You're watching or listening or even reading this conversation right now because I figured out something that I discovered, I then chose to appreciate, then experimented with, and then leveraged, which is the ease in which I can really communicate a message. I've tried writing blog posts. I've tried making small tweets and coming up with pictures and all that. And none of them were as easy for me as the ability to make a video and to get people on a team to support me in getting that message out into the world. All that happened, all that insight came through following this process. And it wasn't what you're seeing is the external result of all this. But I'll tell you about the internal journey sometime soon, about what it took to feel that it was okay to make video as a primary way of talking. And then beyond that, to go and say, actually, this is part of my calling card. This is part of the reason why people will love to spend time with me. It's because I'm able to make videos with this kind of ease. In fact, if you're listening right now, you're hearing me leverage this even further. So I want to make sure that I introduce the LEAD framework for us: discover, appreciate, experiment, leverage. And it's going to come up a lot in the work that we do. In fact, inside of the Trailblazer Collective, it's one of the foundational philosophies that we practice, foundational frameworks that's underneath most of what we do inside of the collective. It's to give people a chance to safely discover something new and go through the entire framework over and over again each time we meet, with more and more insights and more application. If that sounds interesting to you, I want you to go to niyama.com/collective and submit an application to come and join us in there. This is what we do each time that we gather. And it's a membership community of practice for globally conscious, socially minded, and impact driven leaders who are looking for a space where they can be all of themselves as they choose to do something that's different than the status quo. Here goes the thing. You got this, and we got you. Journey on. I'm looking forward to your comments, and we'll continue it from there. Hey, Niyama here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and then go ahead and leave one of your insights from today's video in the comments below. If you're looking to take this deeper, you can go and watch another video, or you can go to niyama.com/tribe to get exclusive invitation to our tribe member only events. I'll see you soon.